Welcome in to News and Views with Tom Lamprecht. The stories you've heard and the ones you need to hear.
Human remains were discovered consistent with Gabby Petito.
Police looking for Ryan Laundrie.
Getting the unvaccinated vaccinated for kids 5 to 11.
The increase of migrant arrivals in Del Rio, Texas.
An absolute crisis.
The vote on the infrastructure bill
is the $3.5 trillion is much too low.
The tax increases will be so bad.
Your life, your values, your voice. This is News and Views with Tom Lamprecht on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome in, Tom, Benny, and Clark. And wow, where do you start? Bernie Sanders, $3.5 trillion is much too low. Wow. Stock market took a beating today, big time. The good news for the Dow is it was down like 900 points and only ended down 600 points, 614 to be exact. The S&P fell 1.7%, the worst day performance since May the 12th. Big sell-off. It was coming, though. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty. Inflation is back. Biden is the president. Those two things are sort of scary within themselves. And but it's been going up and up and up and up. You got to figure there's going to come a sell-off sometime.
Yeah, I think most broad indices since, December's 15% gain since December probably, on average.
Like the S&P over the last 18 months, hasn't it doubled?
Not doubled.
Huh? What's
No.
it up? 50%? I mean, it's go back and look.
How many months?
18 months.
Okay, that's a little different now, but
it's gone crazy.
Yeah, if you look at the COVID drop, it's probably up 45% probably.
I mean, you're the accountant. You pay more attention than I do. Big time. So, I mean, down 1.7%. Now, if it's down each day for the next 30 days like that, people will be taking notice.
Well, I'm taking notice because I'm chasing that when to retire number,
Oh, are you walking out on me? Is that all the big bucks you get paid here?
Yeah. I just can't spend it all.
How about them Pirates? I've got to confess, my wife and I were listening on the radio, and into the third quarter, they were down 38-21, and I said, let's watch something on TV. And
yeah, I would say,
oh, me of little faith.
I was not watching. We had some guests over because one of my sons was home from school, and the boys were watching it. But I was kind of entertaining and talking, and they came in and said, "Hey, we're kicking an onside kick." I was like, "For what?"
Huh?
I didn't know. And then so I watched the drive and the interception to end the game. That's telling. They
Congratulations to Mike Houston and Holton Ahlers. They will live to play another day. And if you've been under a rock the last couple of days, they came back and won. What was the final score? 38-20. No, they were losing 38-21.
42-38.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. 42-38.
And in Mike Houston's words about Holton Ahlers, maybe everybody will shut the heck up. But he said something else.
Well,
it was a good win for him.
Oh. Well, and now looking back, I mean, it's funny. Everybody that was so down after the South Carolina loss, suddenly they were doing backflips, singing everybody's praises. So,
we're not. We don't have any fewer fickle fans than any other team. That's for sure.
But they very well, had that field goal not gone through, or had that return of that kickoff in South Carolina, they'd be 2-1.
And road wins are hard. I mean, on the road, that's just hard.
Well, and Marshall was favored by what?
8 or 9 or something.
Points.
Yeah.
So 10 points. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Clark. So the other big story that is all over the news, we haven't really mentioned it yet, but this gal, Gabby Petito, looks like they found her remains. And this is really interesting. Back on August the 12th, and again, I'm not blaming any law enforcement because they didn't know back on August the 12th. This wasn't a big news story. But it has now surfaced that there was a 911 caller who called in to the Moab, Utah Police Department back on August the 12th and said there's something going on really not right in this white van from Florida.
Grant County Sheriff's Office.
Hi, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, I'm calling. I'm right on the corner of Main Street by Moonflower, and we're driving by, and I'd like to report a domestic dispute. Florida with the white van, Florida license plate, white van, gentleman,
Where's it at?
5'6" beard. They just drove off. They're going down Main Street. They made a right onto Main Street from Moonflower.
Or what were they doing?
Cooperative, but what'd you say?
What were they doing?
We drove by, and the gentleman was slapping the girl.
He was slapping her?
Yes, and then we stopped. They ran up and down the sidewalk. He proceeded to hit her, hopped in the car, and they drove off.
So later, the police pulled them over outside of Moab, Utah, and she was all upset. She admitted she was OCD and she was cleaning everything, and apparently it came out in the news that they both had a very similar medical condition. They didn't say what it was. Anyway, the long and short of it is they have now found remains. It is not officially, well, as of last time I checked, they hadn't officially identified her as absolutely being the remains of Gabby Petito, but it sounded pretty much like she was. The body, the remains, was that of Gabby Petito. Interesting, though, a travel blogger who was out in on a trip to Wyoming was out where the car was parked, where they found Gabby Petito's remains, and she saw this van, and it caught her eye because it had Florida plates, and this woman by the name of Jen Bethune saw it and said, there's somebody else from Florida, and they were going to stop, find out who it was and say hi, but the van was all locked up, nobody around. But she was a blogger, and so she was taking video. She went back and looked at her video after she heard the news about this guy, Brian Laundrie, and Gabby Petito, and looked at her video that she had taken that day, and sure enough, apparently she had the license plates in the video and the van, and realized it was that van. She was the one that notified authorities. They went in then to where she was in Wyoming and found the remains of Gabby Petito. So it's
I'm sure that was shake you up.
She said she was shaken. She said at the same time she felt like at least she was able to bring some closure to the Petito family.
I don't know what it is. I've done quite a bit of traveling in that area and been to Grand Teton National Park, and but national parks in general, you do encounter some weird people from time to time. I have over the years where I just had that, my radar went off that this person's strange, very strange.
So this guy, Brian Laundrie, is a person of interest in the case. That might be the understatement of the year, but nonetheless, I think their interest in him has risen significantly. It's interesting. Nobody knows where he is. He took out into some reserve, I guess, down in Florida, and nobody knows where he is. Some people are speculating he might be suicidal.
Well, he was his parents' house a couple of days ago, I guess it was. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, apparently drove the van back to the house.
Yeah. This day and age, with so many cameras, I mean, it's just about no way he won't be found. I mean, it's one
unless he's dead. I mean, if he's rotting somewhere in the.
I mean, it's one thing if he was,
swamp.
If he was taken off out west somewhere once all this went down, but if he left his parents' house, he's probably been on cameras ever since. I mean, it's almost impossible to go anywhere without a camera now.
The other big news that just broke today was there was another school shooting. The good news is, in this case, now I announced this the last time there was a shooting in North Carolina. The young man died. This was just up the road in Newport News, up near Virginia Beach, Norfolk area. Newport News chief of police Steve Drew said there was a shooting. There were 2 victims at the school. This is out of WAVY in Virginia Beach. Both victims were 17 years old. One boy was shot, and it sounds like he was shot, but it just skimmed his face. And another girl was shot in the lower leg. It sounds like they're both going to be fine. Apparently, I don't know if it was a romance thing or what, but apparently whoever did the shooting was targeting these 2 people, and it wasn't like there was just some random postal situation where the guy was going nuts. They do have a suspect, and now it sounds like it's all over. It's not all over for this young man who is now under arrest.
And was it Saturday they had the shooting at North Carolina Central?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was a couple of people killed there.
Yes. Yeah. In fact, I saw headlines that the chancellor up there is asking for additional help from the local police department.
But it
because apparently the violence at that school is not good.
Well, I know where it's located, and
that's questionable.
Yeah, that's not a good area to walk around at night. But I don't think it involved any students or staff of North Carolina Central, though. As far as
it's probably somebody from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
561-8255. You say we have Jim on the line? Oh, okay. Jim, call back. Well, sorry. When you call, we can't always get right to you, so we'll do our best. PJ Media is reporting that apparently Cousin Eddie, a.k.a. Joe Biden, realizes that even his constituents thinks he's a moron. So now babbling Biden is desperate to get back what he gave away in his badly bungled bug out from Afghanistan. This is interesting, and it's frustrating, and it's not going to help Joe's. I think Joe is trying to help his image that he's a strong leader. It's just going to make people more aggravated. Joint Chiefs Chair and China hack General Mark Milley is meeting in Greece with NATO counterparts this past weekend, hoping to forge 1, more bases, 2, intelligence sharing, and 3 other agreements to prevent terrorists from regrouping. You can't make this stuff up. Now, Joe had all these things prior to his asinine pullout of the Bagram Air Force Base. Now we have to go back and negotiate with countries that don't trust us. Saying, trust us. Oh, yeah, we're good for it. And this is unbelievable. So Biden is desperate to try and start from scratch because these negotiations make it clear that his over-the-horizon capability. Remember, that's what they said. Well, we can take care of the terrorists from over the horizon. We'll send in a drone and we'll blow the guys up. Well, the first drone they send in, they kill a family of innocent people that were actually allies of America. That's who they killed with their over-the-horizon methodology of keeping us all safe. Wow.
But he's not so desperate and concerned that he can't take a little vacay to ride his bicycle
and eat ice cream
at his beach house.
And eat ice cream.
Yeah.
So this is what the military put out. The U.S. military says it can conduct counterterrorism surveillance and, if necessary, strike in Afghanistan from over the horizon, meaning from assets based in other countries. But here's the problem. I mean, we had Bagram right there, right? Where are they going to locate this other base from over the horizon? On one side, you got China. On the other side, you've got Iran. On the other side, you've got Pakistan. On the other side, you've got India, and India's anti-colonialism. I mean, they do not want any other. I mean, they just got rid of Britain. Was it 100 years ago, 75 years ago? Mm-hmm. They're not going to let Americans come in there and have an Air Force base there.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that was the importance of that base. You know, from early on when the war started in Afghan, and until we established a base there, we basically couldn't do a lot except on the ground. I mean, we had, special forces on the ground and CIA on the ground in Afghanistan early on. But if you get a map, you're a long ways. You just can't.
It's interesting you say that.
You can't fly 1,500 miles.
Well, it's interesting you say if you have a map.
Yeah.
The PJ Media story ends with, can anyone in Washington, D.C. read a map? We've got to take a time out. Stay with us. More news and views coming up.
And we're on location at one of my favorite places in the whole planet because this is some of the best food you're ever going to eat in your life. We are at Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. It's one of my hangouts. It's one of the places that I love. I got my friend Pietro Pasalacqua. How'd I do?
You did great.
Let's talk about the food. What makes this place? I know it's special Italian from authentic Italians, but tell us why it's so special.
Because everything we do, it's really what we came up on the menu from what we did at home, from my grandparents, my parents. So it's exactly what we eat at home, and that's the way we cook. That's why it's special.
And the atmosphere in this place is special also. From the bar to the two dining areas. You got two different dining areas, and now the weather's nice, so there's going to be a lot of folks that want to eat outside.
Yeah, we have two rooms. One room is designed a little different. We're also working on the patio to make it more attractive and more useful in the summer with a cocktail service. And we're always improving our services.
And, of course, my friends here, my buddy, Chef Massimo, who I love, and Sal and Pietro, you guys do a great job here. Not just Italian, but I had a great pork chop here the other night. You got great steaks, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're also adding filet mignon in the future on our menu. And Massimo is coming out with a really good side dishes for it. And so we're really excited to come out with new meats and fish dishes.
All right, Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. Same people that give you Marabello's and the great pizza that you get at Marabello's, but this is fine dining at Nino's. If you haven't been here, you don't know what you're missing. Come see them at Nino's on Red Banks Road. And Pietro, what is that famous saying about Nino's?
The food that you enjoy with people that you love.
Top Dog Academy is Eastern North Carolina's complete dog training facility. Top Dog provides an excellent environment for dogs of all ages with training services and work week daycare. Top Dog is located on Highway 43 South, just 4 miles from Bells Fork, and features a comfortable, healthy environment and a spacious facility for daycare and a brand new, beautiful facility for training. Call 752-8215 or visit TopDogOnline.com.
Come on out Highway 43 South to Top Dog Academy, where we know dogs.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast, located in Beaufort, North Carolina. Southern Living's best.
This is your
small
Drive at 5 and ENC with Tom Lamprecht. Welcome back to News and Views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, go out and get your pizza. Today is National Pepperoni Pizza Day. That sounds good to me. What are you going to be for Halloween? 41 days until Halloween. Taking a look at your weather forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low around 66. A slight chance of showers on Tuesday. Just a 20% chance, again, for Tuesday night. Tomorrow's high 86. Tomorrow night's low 70. Then the rain comes in on Wednesday. There's a 60% chance of thunderstorms and showers on Wednesday with a high near 84. 561-8255. Jim is back. Hey, Jim, welcome in.
Hey, Jim.
Hi, Tom. Hey, there was such a big threat to the Capitol last week that they put the fencing all back up.
I saw that.
And then now this week, all I hear is crickets. Have you heard anything at all about what went on?
No, I have not. I'm sure they're disappointed that there hasn't been a riot or something so that they can put more people in jail. But no, there's nothing there.
I think there was more reporters than protesters.
Yep.
All right, guys.
I appreciate it, Jim.
Work.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The Dems have got to be upset. Over the weekend, the Senate parliamentarian issued a ruling saying that provisions – you need to get a female mumbler. The parliamentarian is actually a woman.
Who is the parliamentarian?
Elizabeth McDonough is the Senate parliamentarian. She said to Joe and the Build Back Better boondoggle is, no, you cannot put your condoning of illegal immigrants, making them legal and allowing them to become citizens in your budget. Can't do it. Now, what's really interesting is Ilhan Omar came back, and as is typical of Democrats, and I talked about this on Friday, Joe Biden comes out and says, well, I can throw out these mandates because it's so important. I can throw out mandates, mandating the vaccine because it's so important. I'm all about saving lives. Well, Ilhan Omar comes out and says today to Senate Leader Chuck Schumer and the other 49 Democrats, just ignore the parliamentarian. We don't have to follow her rules. We don't have to do it. This is too important. These are people that are fleeing from their countries for their safety, and typical liberal propaganda. The bottom line is, the $3.5 trillion. So, by the way, if you missed the premise of the story is, under this budget, the $3.5 trillion budget, they want to have all this immigration stuff, which would cause, I talked about this on Friday, which would allow chain migration. And so, one of the things the parliamentarian is saying, wait a minute, if this were to go through, now you can't do it, but if it were to go through, just think how it's going to impact the budget. I mean, $3.5 trillion is peanuts compared to what it would cost Americans if suddenly you're allowing all these people, and then their chain migration allows all their aunts and uncles and brothers and sisters to come in. It's a total boondoggle. And Ilhan just said, just ignore it. We don't have to listen to her.
And the same thing happened in the Obama administration. He would talk about the Constitution as if it was, just a major stumbling block for his agenda. I mean, he talked about that all the time.
Well, he would say, it was interesting, well, he did at some speech, well, I can't do that. We have a Constitution. Then 2 weeks later, he'd turn around and do it.
Yeah. But, the current Democrat Party, I honestly just do not see how, the average Democrat voter, there's a lot Democrat voters will not, the House will be burning down around them, set by a Democrat, and they would still vote Democrat. We all know that. Yeah. But that 10 or 15% that swings either election, either way, I just don't
it's more like 5%.
Yeah, I'm probably being, a little too much there. But I don't know how they don't see what's going on. It's so obvious to anyone with a brain or willing to be not willfully ignorant. Really, it's obvious what's going on here.
Well, the ends justify the means. They want to have a Marxist society. There are certain individuals that want power, and they will do whatever it takes to retain their power. And my wife says, well, these people that think they're going to be in power, most of them are so old, they're going to be pushing up daisies before too long.
But there's independents out there and I've had a discussion with one recently. Made a comment to me, well, I don't watch any news. It's not going to do any good. You know what? You need to watch some news.
Yeah.
You need to be informed because they are pulling the wool over to people's eyes.
I understand that the news is depressing. I understand that. But you better be informed and you better get involved. Otherwise, the next thing you know, they're going to come marching up your street and telling you what to do, and you're not going to have an option of watching the news or not watching the news. You're just going to have to follow whatever they tell you to do. And frankly,
we're heading
there. We're there.
Yeah.
We're there.
We're a lot closer than I ever thought we'd be, honestly, in my lifetime. And it's happened overnight.
Interestingly, the mainstream media, which so far has protected Joe at every turn, even the mainstream media, even Meet the Press host Chuck Todd, said yesterday
Chuck Todd. That's his name. Chuck Todd. Really? Look it up.
Okay, I just don't want to slip of the lip. Be careful how you say that.
Big red flag.
Yeah, I know you are. Anyway, this is what Chuck said yesterday concerning Joe Biden's bungling.
Well, look, I think he's got a pretty big credibility crisis on his hands because all of these problems in some ways showed up after he said something basically the exact opposite. Afghanistan withdrawal wasn't going to be messy. This wasn't going to look like Saigon. The booster shots, he came out and essentially said 8 months and even indicated maybe we should start it as soon as 5 months. Now we're not sure if anybody under 65 is going to get a booster shot. We can talk about the border problems. You could say there's years in the making, but it's pretty clear we have a bigger problem now than we've had in years. He's got a lot of work to do. The UN speech, look, he's got some credibility issues on the world stage. The next month's going to probably still be tough for him politically because he's got to get this big bill through Congress. If he can get that thing passed, Willie, I think he can start to, take a few breaths here a little bit. But he's got a lot on the line here this month, that's for sure.
Now, Chuck is critical of Biden, but not so critical that he is willing to talk negatively about the $3.5 trillion boondoggle. If he can just get that passed, he'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. That is just going to open a whole nother can of worms for him going down the pike. Others appear to be on Todd's show also question Biden. Todd asked Reuters White House correspondent Jeff Manson about the mood in the White House. Quote, it got worse on Friday afternoon with all those things happening in one day. They're certainly embattled right now. But this White House has said from the beginning Joe Biden can chew gum and walk at the same time. I don't know. Can he?
I'd like to see evidence of that.
I mean, if he can, that's maxed out. That's all he can do. I mean, come on. Don't get a third. I mean, he can't walk, chew gum, and click his fingers at the same time. That's an impossibility.
Come on.
No, I'm sorry, Joe. And this is going to be interesting. Joe is scheduled to speak at the UN this week.
Wow.
That should really be interesting because there's nobody in the White House that can cut the streaming feed when he goes off script.
But they're working on it.
They probably are. Now, I'm dead serious when I say this. It'll really be interesting if there's somebody escorting Joe up to the podium. You watch, I bet you there will be, because Joe otherwise would get lost and would be wandering around the hall trying to find where he's supposed to go.
That's a good point, and I know how they'll cover it. They'll have somebody that's going out in front of him, like cleaning things off for COVID protocols,
something like that.
I mean, but they will have
somehow they will work it out so that it looks like, well, he doesn't really need an escort, but they're doing it for some other reason. But the reason why that person will be there is because he needs an escort.
Yeah, we got to get him to the podium.
He can't even find his way into the White House.
Come on, man.
Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, he's lost baseball in high weeds.
Wow. Interesting stories out in the Washington Examiner talking about a number of different polls. It's looking optimistic. Now, let me preface this by saying it's fun to watch the polls, but otherwise they're fairly meaningless. The polls are usually wrong. Although I will say this, they're usually more accurate, and I think this is the bias in the media. They're usually more accurate than when they have the Democrats lose, the Republicans winning, the Democrats losing, than they are when it's the other way around. But according to this new poll, Joe Biden, with his miserable polling, could lose as many as 41 seats in the House, which is 34 more seats than the Republicans need for them to take over the House. So I think what all they need is 8 to take over, right? 7 would be a tie, 8 would take it over. And they're 41, according to projections, they're 41 up. Joe Biden's overall disapproval rating, and more challenging for him, his strong disapproval ratings are right where Donald Trump's was prior to the November 2018. And Trump lost 41 seats in that, interestingly. It's not unusual to see the person in the White House, his party, lose in the first midterms. But with Biden's numbers right now, the chances of him losing big time is even greater. Because, interestingly, a lot of people didn't like Trump. And the media hated Trump. I mean, he didn't have any good media at all. And he lost 41. My hunch is, it could be a lot higher than 41. Now, granted, I realize that there's some House seats, the way everything's gerrymandered, it doesn't matter who's there now. I mean, Maxine Waters, Sheila Jackson Lee,
Bozo the Clown.
Yeah, they're not going to lose.
No,
they're just not going to lose.
I mean, there's only, what is it? Would you say there's less than 20% of the House races ever in play? Maybe.
Well, there's 435,
so that'd be
right?
about 80 seats or so.
20% of 435 is
89.
89,
so.
Yeah, that would be, well, and here you've got basically 10%, right? The other interesting part about this is if you look all the way into 2024, Republicans are psyching up for that battle. Pollster Scott Rasmussen says his numbers show that Trump voters are especially enthusiastic. And again, 2022 is a long way away. 2024 is a decade away. He said 75% are very motivated. Democrats still out hope for a turnaround of Biden's support. That ain't going to happen. I'm sorry, that's just not going to happen. Jonathan Zogby of Zogby Analytics said voters might change their tune if the president's big spending social welfare and infrastructure bills deliver projects back home. Again, it's questionable whether they even get this thing through. Joe Manchin has said, no, I'm not voting for it. Kristen Sinema said she's doubtful. Right now she's saying she's not. Overall, it's close, and I see Republicans with more of an advantage right now than to win both chambers, but not by a huge amount, as Zogby said. In terms of the 2024 GOP primary and national election, Biden's big government socialist policies failed. Donald Trump supports grows stronger. 71% of all Republicans, of likely voters, including independents who vote in Republican primaries, want to see Trump run again in 2024. Now, that is surprising. Is it going to be Trump or is it going to be DeSantis? I mean, I like Trump. I think he's good. I would love to see Donald Trump get behind a DeSantis and say, you know what, let me play the role of kingmaker and advisor, and let's get some young blood in there who is just as strong, I think just as strong as Trump, but a little bit more diplomatic.
Let him be the role as the attack dog. He'd be good at that. He's
yeah, exactly. Let him be the attack dog. Maybe have Trump as the VP. That would be interesting. He'd really be the attack dog.
His ego won't let him do that.
Voters also don't expect Biden to finish his term. Now, the gentleman to my left has said this for some time. He didn't think he was going to finish the year, which means Kamala Harris, the likely Democrat nominee. And they don't like that. That even spells more disaster. In a contest between Trump and Harris, Trump leads among suburban voters 52 to 43%, among women 50 to 47%. So even amongst women with Kamala Harris, Trump wins even bigger than he'd win with Joe Biden. I think Biden, he was ahead by 3%. I think it was like 50 to 47%, something like that. He wins even bigger with Kamala.
Well, Kamala, or whatever how you say it, depends on what day you ask her. I mean, it's well noted she did horrible in the primaries, but even when you compare her to Hillary Clinton, she's got the same kind of negatives that Hillary Clinton had. Yeah. And Hillary Clinton...
And they both have cackling laughs.
But Hillary Clinton won a lot of primaries, basically because, she had the full weight of the Democrat Party behind her, destroying other Democrat primary candidates. But there is absolutely no way the Democrats would take Kamala Harris as a nominee. Will not happen. I am not going to say I'd march on the courthouse square naked, but I'll do something.
Oh, my.
Speaking of losers, I'm not referring to Benny Naked. Speaking of losers, Beto O'Rourke is going to go for the trifecta.
Oh, my goodness.
He's going to run for the governor of Texas. You can't make this stuff up. Beto O'Rourke is preparing to run for governor down in Texas. Perhaps O'Rourke thinks that this campaign will be more like his competitive 2018 challenge to Ted Cruz than his miserable run for president. The Dallas Morning News and University of Texas at Tyler has Governor Abbott at 45% approval, but he's still ahead of his disapproval, which is 44% disapproval. Joe Biden is underwater in Texas, 52 disapproving, 40% approving. O'Rourke's own approval is underwater as well, with 42% disapproving, just 34 approving. But he's going to run against Abbott and says, look, the people don't approve of him. Well, they approve of him more than they approve of you. Beto.
How Beto? And I don't even like to call him Beto because that's not his name. But
Francis.
Francis, yeah. Francis just, it's hard to sound Hispanic being named Francis, and I know that's what he wants to do. But how does he just keep getting an opportunity to run for something? I mean,
it's amazing. When you're a liberal and you espouse the liberal ideology, there's another liberal that will come and back you up and give you money and do what you want, give you a promotion. Hey, stay with us. If you're on hold, we'll get to your phone call, I promise. We'll be right back.
Break the chain. Eat local. Tiebreakers.
Hey, this is Hank Hinton back here at Full Service Flooring in Winterville. I'm here today with Corey Little, who's the operations manager here at Full Service Flooring. Corey's been here 6 months, but you've been in construction a long time. Tell us about what you do here at Full Service Flooring.
Yeah, I got over here about 6 months ago. I've been in construction for, like I said, a little over 20 years, and I've known Tim for a long time now, and he's brought me over here to see what new kind of things I can bring to the store and to our customers. And I'm in charge of scheduling, and I don't know what else. I'm in charge of everything. It seems like we work together as a team and try to pull it all together. I might do a measure one day and do a commercial floor the next day, but we just kind of all work together and pull it all together at one time.
So what's new in flooring? What is the hot new thing?
The hot new thing is LVP or LVT, depending on what you're looking for, which look you're looking for. It's a waterproof product. It's absolutely fantastic. You can't really beat it.
A lot cheaper than hardwoods?
It is definitely a cost-effective alternative to hardwoods, yes, sir.
So, Corey, how is business right now?
And business is good. Despite the pandemic, we're still seeing a lot of new customers in the store, and we get an opportunity to introduce our products in a lot of different situations right now.
Corey, you've got a lot of experience in the construction industry. How is that helping you here with people, helping people with flooring here at Full Service Flooring?
Sure. I try to take the experiences that I've gained over my time in construction to help apply that to the flooring, whether it be with what the structure is made out of, the subfloor that we're going over top of, or maybe even just how it coordinates with your kitchen cabinets in construction or in your bathroom and how the tub and everything all ties together.
And a customer can just come here and see you anytime?
Absolutely. We're here 6 days a week, and we just love to see a new customer in here anytime. They can always call us and schedule something with us so we can make sure we have our time allotted for them.
Corey, thank you so much. That's Corey Little here at Full Service Flooring. Come see these guys. They're on Tilco Drive in Winterville, 756-9308 and fullserviceflooring.com.
Shotgun with your 5 o'clock drive.
Well, the drive home should be a delight.
This is Tom Lamprecht with more news and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back in. Take a guess at what the highest price for a gallon of gas in the United States is.
In the lower 48?
Yeah, the lower 48.
Okay. I would probably guess it'd be California.
Yeah, got that part right.
And I would say probably $6.25 a gallon.
You're close, but you're not high enough. $6.74 a gallon.
Wow. Building back better.
Mendocino, California, coastal northern city. Yep, that's right. Hey, building back better. And interestingly, Fox did a story on this and went out and talked to some folks. And the people out there, I mean, it's just a little country town, Northern California. They got it right. They said, well, Joe Biden keeps printing money and to pay for all of his ridiculous things, and of course you're going to have inflation. And what does Joe say? Well, you got to pass my $3.5 trillion so we can keep inflation under wraps. Unbelievable. 5618255. Let's go to Tom from Bellhaven. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Tom.
Hey guys, how y'all doing today?
Doing well. Good to hear from you.
Oh, you too. Listening to you guys talk about Biden's numbers, and it just amazes me that he's got these numbers now after all of his 80 million or more people voted for him. He gets these numbers because he's doing badly, and Trump got his numbers because he was doing great. And it is just incredible to me that we've got what's going on right now in this country. We've got people like AOC claiming to be a leader of this country when she couldn't lead a kindergarten class to the lunchroom.
No, you're right. These people could not run a lemonade stand successfully. They couldn't. They've never met a payroll in their life.
And I just wanted to call in and let you guys, make y'all be aware of some. Y'all need to be careful if you're going to call Mr. O'Rourke Francis. I don't know if you ever saw Stripes or not, but
lighten up, Francis.
Exactly right. But the country is we are in so much trouble right now, and I don't think people realize it because everyone is focused on this virus garbage. And that is the plan, to take our views off of what's happening.
Yep.
And it needs to be, what's going on at the border. I mean, how do you get 7,000 Haitians into Mexico and then get them up here? I mean, that needs to be looked at. How is that happening?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. Can you imagine walking from Haiti to the Texas border?
Yeah, that's a long way.
I mean, I'm sorry. You're right. How do you buy that? I mean, how many pairs of tennis shoes would you wear out getting there?
Or you got to figure that if you got from Haiti to Mexico, you're certainly not going to have any trouble getting across the Rio Grande.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. You're right. If you just use common sense and say, wait a minute, does this make sense? These people that have no money, I mean, how are they feeding themselves along the way? I mean, they get up to the border and all they have is maybe a knapsack on their back at most, and yet they've walked 1,000 miles and I mean, how far? I wonder what is the distance between?
It's a
Haiti?
long ways. I don't know.
It's a long way, but it's even further from Haiti to Central America.
It is. It does not pass the smell test, as I often say. Hey, Tom, great call. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom.
Appreciate it. Hey, we're going to take another timeout. Stay with us. When we get back, hypocrisy all over the liberal globe. We'll tell you why. We'll be right back.
Your trade is in high demand. That means your trade value has never been hotter. Get to Greenville Toyota now. We'll pay more for your trade than ever before. Get cash on the spot, even if you don't buy from us. At Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
Air service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
Sawyer's Fun Park in Winterville is now open. With over 40,000 square feet of family fun, daily money-saving deals, and a full-service restaurant, Sawyer's Fun Park is guaranteed to have something the whole family will love. Test your ninja skills on our 2-story obstacle course or head over to one of our 5 rock walls and race your friends to the top. And when you've worked up an appetite in our laser tag arena or our one-of-a-kind ropes course, grab a table over at the restaurant and try our world-famous Southern Monster Fries. Reserve your spot today at SawyersFunPark.com and come join in on the fun.
My name is
Dr. Neeti Armistead, Chief Medical Officer for Vidant Health. The following simple steps will help keep you and your community safe. Stay home as much as possible, wear a mask when out in public, avoid large gatherings, practice social distancing, and wash hands often. It's also important not to delay needed care. Vidant has taken important steps to provide you and your family with a safe environment. Learn more about COVID-19 and Vidant's response. Call 252-847-8000 or visit vidanthealth.com/COVID-19.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
To the show that really makes you think.
He is a genius.
He's all powerful.
He brought a kind of heat.
He could be the best. Just don't hurt yourself, okay? More news and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back in. 9 minutes before the top of the hour. The Supreme Court announced today they have set a date for oral arguments in this Mississippi case, Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health. This is an abortion case that a lot of people are looking at and saying, okay, could this overturn Roe v. Wade and send abortion back to the states, where it'll be up to the states, state by state, to decide if they're going to legalize abortion. Now, that's people are projecting that could happen in this. We'll see. But the oral arguments in Dobbs versus Jackson's Women's Health will be taking place on December the 1st. So we'll keep an eye on that. Liberals, do as I say, not as I do. San Francisco Mayor London Breed defended herself after, this is just like the governor of California, defended herself after being caught maskless at a city jazz club in violation of her own city's strict ordinance, telling reporters that she was, quote, feeling the spirit. Feeling the spirit. I think that means I was 3 sheets to the wind. Mm-hmm. She was feeling the spirit and not thinking about masking, and claiming that San Francisco should not be the fun police, even during an ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. This is your excuse? This is your excuse that I was dancing behind a table full of drinks. So the mayor of San Francisco, her justification for breaking her own ordinance was, well, you can't blame me. I was drunk.
Yeah.
That's what she's saying.
But your 5-year-old child has to wear a mask all day in class in San Francisco.
I guess maybe alcohol kills the virus. There you go. That's the new.
Well, I know a few people. That's been their theory, and they're sticking to it. And based on the ABC sales in North Carolina and other states.
Yeah. Did you see the ABC director resigned today for North Carolina because they can't keep up with the demand apparently under COVID?
Well, I don't even know who he is, but I guarantee it's a political appointment.
Oh, it was the governor. The governor.
Yeah.
It's on. If you go look at Carolina Journal, I can't remember what his name was, but he resigned today.
Lifetime Democrat.
Oh yeah, and that his replacement will be a lifetime Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of COVID and hypocrisy, I didn't even know it was on. I could care less. I doubt if the ratings were good at all. But the Emmys were on last night, and guess what? All these liberals were maskless.
But they're sophisticated and vaccinated, probably.
That's what they said. Well, and that's what the mayor of San Francisco said. She said, "Hey, well, we're all vaccinated, but her own ordinance says vaccination doesn't matter. You still have to have a mask on." But all the hoi pollois at the Emmys were maskless. They all were. But what's really interesting about this is that while they were maskless, the peons, the serfs, the help, they all had to wear masks. I mean, if you go and look at the photographs of last night's Emmy, just go Google it. Go to the images and Google it. You will see all the little people, all the people that were, making sure that you have your whatever you need, your wine or your cold beverage or whatever you need. Those people that are making sure you look like the person you think you look like or you hope you look like, they were all in masks. But all the hoi polloi, no, we don't need to wear masks. They need to see our good-looking faces.
And this is in venues all over the country, blue states, red states, particularly blue states, where you'll see the hypocrisy of the wait staff and the commoners, as you said it, the serfs serving the lords. And you'll see all these Democrat elected officials from state levels to federal level maskless.
Senator Tom Cotton said, quote, "The same liberals sanctimoniously mock Republicans for giving parents a choice about masks. They're all frauds, and that includes Fauci, who removes his mask when the cameras are off."
You know exactly what the source is.
Yeah, you're right. The source is Tom Cotton. Fox News meteorologist Janice Dean said, "I think after seeing all the celebs without masks or social distancing in a packed tent at the Emmys, we should pretty much move on with our lives. But hey, they were vaccinated," is my favorite response to packed tent celebrities with no masks at the Emmys.
They're mask holes.
And we're keeping it PG here, all right? He said mask. He said mask. All right, we got to run. We'll do it again tomorrow at 5 o'clock. We'll see you then. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right.
We're on location at Fabric and Home Furnishings, and I'm back with my friend Lisa Pendry. And Lisa's been telling me about all the great renovations that have been going on here in the store, and I've been looking around, and it looks fantastic. Tell us what you've done here.
Well, we've knocked some walls down, we've painted, we've added some new vendors, lots of new exciting things going on. So we're making room for everybody to get what they need to transform their homes.
Looks fantastic in here. Last time we talked, you were saying that you were able to deliver a lot faster than most other furniture stores. Is that still the case?
It is. It's changed a little bit, but we're still looking at around 8 to 10 week delivery, and we do sell our floor samples right off the floor.
All right, we always say that Fabric and Home Furnishings is more than just a fabric store, so tell us what the more is all about. What when people come in, what should they expect?
Well, we love to get to know our customers. I have the best crew I've ever had, and everybody on my team is an interior designer. So we offer in-home design service, which we always have, but now they can each come out to your home after they work with you in here, figure out what's going on in your residence or your commercial property to pull it together and help you make everything beautiful.
You got great folks here.
I do.
I can tell you, I haven't gotten to know them. It's like a family when you come in here, and everybody gets along well, and you can tell that these guys and gals really know what they're talking about when it comes to interior design.
They do, and that's really what makes us different. We offer complete in-home design service. We don't charge a by-the-hour fee. It's a flat one-time fee. We work with you in here, in your home, in your business, and help pull everything together.
All right, it's more than just a fabric store. Fabric and Home Furnishings in Arlington Village. Come see this lady. She's fantastic. Fabric and Home Furnishings. Come see the renovations here in Arlington Village. And thank you for the visit today.
Thank you, Henry.
All right, you got to come see what they've done in the store here on Arlington Boulevard in Arlington Village.